All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Advocacy Connection channel. Today, I have a very special guest, Erin. How's it going, Erin? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am fantastic. I'm fantastic. Thank you. So glad to have you join me today,
hmm
and just have a couple advocacy related questions for you. Make it real quick, real simple. So, in your own words, what would you say advocacy or self advocacy means to you as an individual?
For me, it was definitely being able to use my own voice to get the resources that I needed for not only my own mental health things, but also like just in general to just like be able to have control over my little like action plan in a sense or life plan, I guess. That's what we call it here in Mass. Like I'm a not like a client, that's like not the right term, but like, like I have a DDS worker here in my state of Massachusetts. And so every year or every 2 years, depending on the person, we do a life plan meeting. And so at that life plan meeting, I'm able to kind of advocate for myself of what resources, what, supports that I need and stuff like that. So on those meetings, those are really, really important, especially for me. But I do check-ins with my DDS worker like every 3 to 6 months, depending on our schedules. And so for me, self-advocacy is just being able to use my own voice to just be able to get all the supports and resources that I need for my journey on in terms of the mental health world. And I also have a disability of autism spectrum disorder. So yeah,
Awesome, awesome. That was really good input, Erin. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
And so, what was it like for you growing up with a disability? Like as you grew older, did you sort of kind of like come to terms with the disability you had and the
The only
services that were
disability
offered?
that I knew that I had was mental health diagnoses. So I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and a bunch of other little stuff when I was a freshman slash sophomore in high school. But I never knew I had autism spectrum disorder until I was actually medically diagnosed when I was a junior in high school. So that would have helped me out so much from kindergarten to, then, but because of the unknown of it, I had no idea that I had it. I had a feeling I had it though, because I have family members that are on the spectrum. So I had a feeling that, like, maybe I had something like that. And I just wanted to get tested just for clarification, I guess, not necessarily to have that label on me, but just to be like, okay, that's what it is, and like be able to kind of work around it. But my first kind of like obstacle, I guess, was getting through like my mental health first, because that was definitely a big struggle of mine throughout high school with, bullying and pressure and just all of that kind of stuff. And on top of that, it just was so confusing to be, feel different when I was in high school, because I was just like, not many people had the same things that I was diagnosed with and everything. So I was just like, wow, I'm super different. And so that thus led to low self esteem, which then led to I need to figure out what's going on. And then I was able to get diagnosed my junior year of high school. So, or with ASD. And so that really, really, really helped me get a jump start to, what I needed for my action plan and what supports I needed and stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Very yeah, great story, Aaron.
Thank you.
And mine's kind of similar. Growing up in
Mhm.
Jersey, myself,
Yeah.
I had no clue what advocacy was at that point. I
hmm
was in a school system that really didn't understand my situation. I had an IEP and stuff like that,
Same
and
here.
I didn't really know how to go about advocating for myself, let alone identifying as a self advocate,
Mhm.
which left me with no way of making my voice heard, making myself known. So
Yeah.
lo and behold, a couple of years later, I moved out here to New York State, got involved with this agency where I'm at today, and kind of learned the ins and outs of self advocacy. And fast forward to present day, here I am doing this channel, educating others like myself
Yeah,
how to find their own voices and such.
definitely.
And I think it's very beneficial for individuals with disabilities, intellectual and developmental, to learn how to find their voices and speak up on not only their own behalf per se, but also on behalf of their peers,
Exactly.
which can go a long way.
Hmm.
So for example, if you couldn't advocate for yourself, or you were a nonverbal individual who couldn't really get your voice across, I would have to speak on your behalf.
Right. Yeah, basically, that's kind of crazy that you mentioned that because when after I was diagnosed with ASD, I actually had to go through and get guardianship for a year with my mom because I was unable to make my own decisions. So at the time, my mom was my advocate for about a year to kind of help me with the start of my mental health journey. So it's kind of ironic that you mentioned that because I wasn't always an advocate for myself. It literally started with my mom, like kind of being by my side for me. And then eventually it got to a point where in my mental health journey, I was just like, okay, I think I could do this. And then, the guardianship ended and I started to become more serious about my mental health journey because who wants to have their mom make their decisions as a young adult? It's like, you're an adult now, you should be able to make your own decisions type of a thing. So, and be able to work with your people. So figured I'd mention that in there, that it doesn't always, start off, doing it for yourself. It's okay to
Right.
ask for help if you do need it
Oh,
though.
absolutely. And that brings me to another point. For those out there who are skeptical about advocating to your staff, to whoever, if you feel like you don't need help, it's always okay to ask. Don't ever feel ashamed
Yeah,
to ask for help. Help is always available. Even if you may not think you need it, it's never a bad thing to ask.
exactly.
If you want to do your own thing, that's great. That's phenomenal. But if you find yourself truly stuck, it's okay to ask somebody.
Hmm.
They'll be more than happy to assist. And I've had help pretty much my whole life up until, you know, my adult life. So, and I'm pretty much doing stuff, on my own. I mean, I do have minimal assistance now, not so much that I did in the past. So that's kind of a little bit of a weight off my shoulders, so to speak.
Definitely, I agree with that because I used to have like God, I called it my mental health team in a way of just like my team
Yeah.
of people that I met with to do my life plan or to do my, figure out my mental health plans for the future. I would have like 10 to 20 people in a room with me. And I was like, oh my God, now it's down to like me, my mom kind of, but just like me, my DDS worker, and I have a therapist. Like that's all I have now compared to I used to have a nutritionist. I used to have a, career planning person. I used to have, a psychiatrist. I used to have all of that, but now I've kind of narrowed it down to just PCP, therapist, DDS worker. And it's definitely a lot more weight off my shoulders not having to send an email to like 10 different people about different things.
Right.
But I didn't mind having the extra help at the time. I mean, I had like a person for everything, but now I just have like one go-to person. Say if I, really need to vent about something, I can go to my therapist. If I need something help with my medication, I go to my PCP. But if anything else, I go to my DDS worker. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you have like supports, but not like a whole lot. You have like a small handful of people that can like help you along the way. Not so much hold your hand along the way, but kind of like be like a guiding force.
Right.
That's awesome. And before we wrap up here, is there any questions you might have for me, or anything you want to close out with?
I guess my question is that I actually thought of is like, I know that you're a huge, doing this, YouTube channel of, talking about self-advocacy. Where do you want this to go to? Do you want to become like a speaker of sorts to talk about self-advocacy, or like what's your ideal future when it comes to this whole self-advocacy, what's the term I'm trying to look for? Like, you're kind of like promoting it in a way, like right now through your YouTube
Yeah.
channel. So what's your like plan moving forward, I guess?
Okay, so great question. So as far as like the future of this project goes, I'm definitely trying to get it widespread, past here, past New York State Senate, past Washington, try to like make it not only a nationwide thing, but like a worldwide thing,
Hmm.
and just get people together, to help find their voice, basically, like a chain reaction or like a domino effect, if you will, and just kind of like be the voice of people who don't have one.
Yeah.
And hopefully one day be a motivational speaker on that, or just be like a disability rights activist or advocate. So whichever road opens up to me first, I'll definitely be taking that general direction.
That's awesome.
So yeah, with that being said, guys, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank Erin for joining me today. Thank you so much. You were awesome. And we'll definitely talk more in the future about advocacy and stuff like that. And as always, this is the Advocacy Connection channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, which will really help the channel out. And till then, see you guys next week.